Okay, first of all, gotta get your guys and all your equipment to the job, obviously. And the first step is to begin to do the grading or bringing down the grade. We like to bring it down 8 inches. And we do that with a laser level. That way we're super accurate and we don't have to order more gravel or order more mud. So that's what these guys are doing here. Take it down 8 inches from the virgin ground. Then obviously you're gonna have a bunch of extra dirt you got to haul off, so you got to plan for that. This is what it kind of looks like once it is excavated down 8 inches. And for this particular job, the customer wanted a hot tub, but his backyard was on a slope, so we had to make that area perfectly flat. So we ran some string lines, brought in some extra dirt. Then you can see Pasquale, he's compacting it down with a compactor, just a regular plate compactor. Then you gotta get all your aggregate there, and then get it in, bring that up 4 inches. That way you're right below any existing cement. And we like to use gravel because it self-compacts and it's a whole lot less labor intensive than road base. So we use a 3-inch minus, or basically whatever we can get. And then you use the laser level as well on this to make sure you're 4 inches everywhere. That way you're not high, you're not low. And these are just some pictures so you can see. If you look over by the concrete, it's right at the bottom of the concrete, the existing concrete. Once you get all your aggregate in, you can get the rebar in. This is just sitting on the ground, it's not actually in the mud yet. Then day comes that you pour. On this one we had to get a pump truck because there ain't no way we're wheelbarrowing all this mud back there. And these guys wouldn't do that either, so you get a pump truck. Your mud trucks come, dump it into it, gets pumped out. These guys right here, they're doing what's called, they're screeding. They are using a 2x4. That just basically gets the mud to the general height that they want it at. Then after, this area right here, you can tell they ran a bull float on it, but we'll get to that a little bit later in the clip. And these guys, they're already cutting in the joints, so it's super labor intensive. You gotta be on top of it. If it gets away from you, it can be a disaster. This is back at the beginning. So you obviously gotta make sure your line pump or a crane pump can reach as far back as you need to go. If you screw that up, then you're really SOL. Right here, he's running what's called the bull float. So they screed it first and they run the bull float over it to get it generally smooth. And then they'll come back over it with a steel trowel or whatever they decide to use to get it real nice and smooth. So you can tell, we learned in our OSHA safety class, you really got to be on top of that line pump, make sure no air gets in there, or it can be super dangerous. Yeah, like I said, super labor intensive. I think we started this pour around 1 o'clock and it's probably 7 or 8 o'clock now and they're just barely putting the finishing touches on. This customer wanted a broomed finish, so that's what they're getting. It helps with traction, so it's not so slippery when it's wet. But it turned out really well. Then you load up, get out of there, get your check, get your guys paid, and off to a good weekend.